Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video. Let's just get out of that sun. It's going to be a reasonably quick intro to this video. So you can see what it is by the thumbnail, but it's been such a bit of a story to follow all the way through. So one of our subscribers reached out Instagram, said, Rob, I'm currently rendering a house. The chap's got this Fiat 500 convertible sat outside. It's covered in muck. It's got an electrical fault. I'll elaborate a little bit more on that down the line, but nothing too serious, I don't think. He's used it purely to tow around behind his motorhome. It's in Salisbury, and I thought, well, it's a little bit far away, but something I can look into. But when I got that message, I was actually sitting in my van at Silver Lake having lunch when I was doing that walk around video and picking up those Merc bits. So I mentioned it to the team there. They was like, Salisbury's like 20 minutes from here, Rob, and we're picking up there all the time. What about if we grab it for you and just leave it here, and then when you come back up you can grab it? Or if we're coming down your way to pick some cars up and we're empty, we can run it down to you. And I was like, sounds perfect. So little bit of thinking about how it was all going to go down, and of course it all worked out okay. So of course I did a car vertical, so I'll chuck that in. But also the Silver Lake driver, thank you so much, did a bit of videoing when he picked it up. So we'll add that in there, and I'll get a little bit more in depth about it. But it's a nice little story, and yeah, just see it as it goes. So I punched the reg into car vertical, guys. Little Fiat 500C this car, so convertible, mileage okay, theft okay, accidents okay, never been used for private hire, spotted activity, manufacturer's date, was registered in the United Kingdom. Failed an MOT in the United Kingdom there, was inspected, that's an MOT inspection, that one there with the advisories on it. It has all of the MOT history on these checks, every MOT that it's been for. It'll tell you whether it's passed, failed, what advisories it had, what failures it had, etc. You scroll a little bit further down on the check and it gives you a list of all of the countries that this check was performed in. So stolen vehicle check in all of these countries. Mileage there, all going in the right direction, so we're quite happy with that. And again, that list of countries that it was checked in. Right at the bottom of this check, there is a list of tips and tricks to use when you're buying your car. There's a checklist here of 9 steps to check when purchasing a car. So if you're going to purchase a car for your first time, you do a check and the list comes up here. So that car all checks out okay. I am quickly just going to show you what one would look like off the bat on the front page if there was an issue. So just as an example, guys, we're going to use this Ford Fiesta. Mileage okay, theft okay, accidents. This vehicle was damaged. You scroll a little bit further down on the check and it gives you a date that the vehicle was written off and the country it was written off in. So it was United Kingdom, record found there, 9th of the 10th, 2020. I want to thank Car Vertical once again for the continued support on the channel. I did say this video was a bit here and a bit there. This is actually nearly a week later and the Silver Lake driver has just called and said he'll be here in 5 minutes. Huge shout out to Silver Lake for doing this for us. The guy's just arrived. Let's get it unloaded and see exactly what we did by blind. I'm sure it's going to be all right, and just off the bat, just looking at it, it actually looks all right as well. Let's get it unloaded. let's have a look at what we bought then, guys. Just like I said, just off the bat, I think that it looks all right. There is various little bits of damage around the front bumper, but you can probably see the grill's actually been cut, and there's a bracket on there, which is the motorhome bracket. And I do have to give that back to the owner. He was struggling to get it off. He didn't want to strip the bumper off. He didn't know how to do it. So I said, look, just leave it on there. I'll remove it for you and I'll send it back to you. I believe that they actually take off the reinforcing bar, the lower one, and replace it with that bracket. I've seen it before. I've actually bought cars with that cut out on the grille, but no major damage around the car at all. I've just had a little quick walk around it. I think they look so cool as well, with that red roof, with that red and cream interior. That does look slightly off there. It's probably had some paint work at some point in its life, but it is a 2011. Again, that back light's been out, hasn't it? No damage around the back of it. And no damage down that side either. So it is just that front bumper. All the tyres look okay on it. It has got a flat battery as well, guys. So the electrical issue, you can see a mechanic spinning here with dirty hands. The electrical issue apparently is the roof won't work and the boot won't open. But guys, we know a little something about Fiat 500s. And I think everybody does that has had a Fiat. Yeah, there's the bumper bar there. That's had a Fiat 500 or knows about them. They are notorious for boot wiring looms or this switch playing up. And that would be the reason possibly why the roof's not working as well. So we're going to need to look into that. But normally there is a little release here for them. That's handy. Even the foam brackets there I can see. Yeah, someone's had a go at putting a boot button on it. Look, there's a new one there. And a little ECU, a boot latch. Yeah, someone's had a go at that. So, and I haven't solved it because he said it's still got the fault. But this wiring here looks, that's not original, is it? Someone's had a little play with that as well. It don't look, yeah, that feels quite thin there and then thick here, so it has had some joiners in it, but we will get to the bottom of it. I'm going to run in, get a jump pack on it, get it running and pull it in the yard, because first things first, I need to get that bracket off and get that in the post, get that sent back to him. Your little standard 1.2. Right, let's get a jump pack on it, see if she runs. I did just notice that earth lead wasn't clipped all the way on. I don't know if you can actually just disconnect that and it disconnects the power rather than unbolt this off of the battery. It's getting a bit alive now. Straight on the button, sounds alright as well. Let's check daytime running light. It's not Sunday the 1st. 47,074 miles. Has got a book pack here. I haven't been through it yet, but there's a service book. Do you know what? I was going to cut there, but we won't. Let's have a little quick look. See if it's got any history. I can see a stamp there. Yes, it's got some service history, which is nice. Not sure how much, but this little light down here, guys, on these Fiats, on most cars actually, does tell you there's something wrong, and that is, it was flashing up on here, daytime running light. That's normally what it is. and you can see one of the front ones has actually been dented out a little bit. Let's check the clutch. Yeah, it's got a clutch on it as well. Right, let's get that guy's bar off the front of it. So I'll be honest guys, I don't know if that's caused by, you know, putting it on the back of the motorhome, because it's funny how it's got a bit of a dent in the bumper and it's got that big bracket. I actually thought it connected to the lower one, but it's the upper one there that you can see. It's been modified to fit. So we've got the original bar for it, but that lower one's actually, they're only little thin bits of tin anyway. We could straighten it out, but I'll just grab one for it. You can see it's just missed the radiator, hasn't quite touched it. Front bumper, the grille, let me just spin that round. You probably just about see that there. See, it's got cable ties holding that daytime running light. One of the brackets is broke, and the grille down there is all broke as well. I'm getting a bit of deja vu. I was going to say I'll look in the shed for one of those grills. I'm sure I've got one, but I'm quite confident I've already said that once in another video and used it. So we'll source those bits, they're available. But in the meantime, I am going to get this bracket swapped out and get the original one put back on it. I'll just call Chris out guys to actually show him some of the damage. Now this bumper, it has had a bit of a wallop. You can see it's had a wallop there. It's actually been, I think there's a little bit of filler in that, Chris, you know. Someone's had a repair on that before. That bumper's going to want painting. But I said, what do you reckon on this? I've just took off that tow along bar and went to put this one back on.
Yeah, it's crushed.
It is crushed, isn't it? So you said you reckon
he possibly's backed into it with a camera, because looking at that,
that's been bolted on after, hasn't it? Which is that's straight, isn't it? Because that's replaced that, Chris, that main bar. So at some point it's rolled into something. It ain't had a whack, has it? Because the headlights look all right. It's just that daytime running light, that scuff, and they're both bent. So I'll need to go around to Kent Autos, get one of these grills, get a couple of bumper bars. Needs a new battery. I left it running for about 10 minutes. Won't take a bit of charge.
The condenser don't look too clever.
The condenser's not very clever at all. No, it's falling apart. So I'll have to get one of those as well, if not a brand new one. So I'm going to head around to Kent Auto Salvage, see what he's got. I went straight down to Mark's, Kent Auto Salvage, nice and local, to get the bits for it, guys. And the only thing Mark had down there was a battery. He said we sold quite a lot of Fiat 500 stuff lately, so I haven't really got any front end stuff. In fact, he didn't have any front end stuff. So after I got the battery, I went straight online and found the bits, but they happen to be, in Essex. So I've whipped over to a breakers there, bought the lower bar, upper bar, and the aircon rad. I didn't realise this aircon rad is completely toast, and we knew that that's not going to hold gas. It's all split. I've just popped the screwdriver in there and the Schrader valve, just pushed it down, and there's definitely no gas in there at all. So we're going to undo that. It's quite simple. You've got just that one bolt on the end of it and these 4 little 8mm, and that comes off. We can swap the aircon rad out, that's going to want gassing up, and then get those bars on. I've ordered a new bumper grill, and that's not going to be in for a couple of days, so we're not too worried about that at the minute. It's not vitally important. It's important to get all of this side of it on there, and of course we don't want to, it's not worth putting the bits in there. I've got them now. Let's crack on and get them fitted on the car. quite straightforward there, guys. There's nothing that I've just done that you couldn't do yourself at home. Very, very straightforward to do. These are quite easy to take apart. I know it's easy for me to say where I've done so many, but genuinely they really are. To get the bumper off, you got 4 up here, and then you got 1 up under there, and the same the other side, and then you've got 4 across the bottom, and the bumper just pulls off. So that's a new crash limiter on there, lower and upper. The foam bar, fortunately we got with it. You can see all of the tabs on these. It's like every time you take them off, they break. They fit in these little squares, this little hole and that little square there. So when you put these back on, and it's a case of probably 99% of them I've done, you will have to either glue it on or just a bit of tape. It's not going to affect it in any way. It is just to hold it in position. And then obviously this goes between the crash bar and the bumper. So all good there, I'll get that taped on. The front bumper, like I say, I've just clipped that grille back in there for now. That bumper is possibly going to need that little repair doing. I don't know what we're doing with that at the moment. That's another job for another day. That's why I'm just going to temporarily fit that bumper. I'll probably put a couple in the top and the 2 side ones, but not concentrate on the bottom ones just yet. So we get that taped on and then move on and fit that brand new second-hand battery. Hopefully then we can get it on its own steam. I've got the key here somewhere I wanted to show you guys. All these Fiat keys always seem to end up in a bit of a sorry state. So the flick still works on it, but the buttons are quite worn and the casing's actually missing. So as usual, we'll probably just grab a spare off of a car down the breakers, and we use the surround off of it and the buttons as well. I think you've all seen me do that, but we'll certainly show it again. I love how easy these are to work on. So I've just stuck 2 bolts in the top of the bumper just to hang it on there. It's got to come off for that grille, and it's that nice, this little car. 47,000 miles. We're going to have that bumper repaired. It's going to want painting, so it's got to come back off again. So that's just temporary, but I am going to get it on its own steam by fitting that battery. There's nothing worse than keep putting the jump pack on and off of it. So let's get that fitted and then move on to the next job. I've chucked it all back together, guys, and I've just pulled that cover off in the back there, started having a look, seeing if there was anything obvious, and then I've pulled that cover off, and you can probably see someone has actually uncovered all of that wiring now. So that's the worst thing, that somebody else has already had a go at it. We say it time and time again, and if you look down here, someone's actually had a yank and pulled that knee airbag out of its socket. So that's actually going to have to be unbolted, clipped back in, and then have the bolts put back in it. But fuse box cover is uncovered there. I've set the time and all that. No proxy alignment needed, but you can see there it's got just over half a tank of fuel, and it says range dash 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 dash. So it's not even registering. I think there's definitely an earth fault, or maybe another kind of fault. And the other thing that I've been thinking about, let me spin this camera around. I thought I'd come in the workshop. It is quite chilly out there, and I couldn't get on the ramp because Chris had something else on the ramp. Just before we move on, guys, this video hasn't been sponsored. They give me this fleece when I went to Brands Hatch the other week, this body warmer, and I haven't took it off. It's fantastic. That little car, I said to Chris, what are your faults? It does seem like someone's had a bit of a play with it. But it did have that motorhome bracket on it, and I know that they have some sort of electrical socket that runs the back lights, number plate lights and brake lights on the cars that they tow. So has something been crossed over there and caused a problem? Has it got a blown module? We just don't know. So the there's no fuel registering on the range there, but there is a good chance I do need to drive the car because the battery's been off. So I'm not even going to look into that at the moment. But what I know is all those wires have been touched, the fuse box cover's undone, the knee airbag is loose, and we've got no headlights. We've got daytime running lights, we got side lights, but no headlights, and we got full beam as well. So that could be headlight bulbs, it could be a fuse. Like I say, we haven't got into that. That's a whole nother bag of worms that we got to open up. So also the boot doesn't open and the roof doesn't work. So I'm sure we get to the bottom of it, but we do need to get it in the workshop, strip it all out, have a look, go back as far as they've gone back. Chris has got the meter, we'll go through, check everything, see what's wrong on it. But that is a nice car, and I am going to take the front bumper back off and probably get it up the paint shop straight away, so that when we do that next video, once we finished, we can bolt that on and that car will be finished. We're not going to have a load of series on it. It's just going to be diagnosing that fault and getting it all cleaned up. I think it's going to clean up really nice, and I know someone's going to love that little car. We don't really buy that many Fiat 500s anymore. I've bought a couple quite recently and traded them straight on, but that one in particular, I thought, do you know what, electrical fault, that would be interesting to quite a lot of you, and what I know how common those boot switches are to go wrong. So that is going to be the end of today's video. If you did enjoy it, please do hit that thumbs up. We really do appreciate it, and of course it shows your appreciation. Don't forget, check out the merchandise, the link is in the description, and there's 10% off of anything you order in December only, and your orders do need to be in by the 18th to receive it in time for Christmas. Follow us on Instagram for the little sneak peeks throughout the day at Salvage Rebuilds. Like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.